TikTok and social media, people are seeing so many parts of the world through the profiles of social media of their friends, and they want to go see the world. Yeah. So, and also one of your chapters of your book is how do we get the government to subsidize our fun and our lifestyle?
We used to be able to write off your entertainment up to through 2018, which was had a number of interesting things, but they had one real negative, and the real negative was you used to be able to write off all your entertainment, 50% of your fun, 50% of your movies, your plays, your bowling, whatever you did with prospects, you could write that off. It was people could basically golf their taxes.
Go watch a game.
They can do all kinds of things. That was eliminated by the tax reform law. They kept food, but that was eliminated. That doesn't mean you can't take proper trips, like foreign trips, to try and get recruits, to try and meet with potential distributors, and then while you're adding it, you can see the sites. But and those trips could be deductible if you do it correctly. Okay. But the general fun itself, like they used to have, is no longer deductible.
Got it. Now that leads to another thing. There's a lot of foodies out there. People love to eat, and so what has changed with deduction when it comes to food?
Well, there's a really interesting thing. For years, food with prospects were 50% deductible. Again, that was because Congress didn't want. They don't want to give enormous benefits like luxury cars and be able to write off all your food and all that other stuff. But because of what happened to restaurants in COVID, they now allow in 2021 and 2022 100% write-off on meals if the meals are purchased from the restaurant. That doesn't have to be eaten at the restaurant. You just have to be at least purchased from the restaurant. So as long as you're eating the meal either at the restaurant or taking it home and with your prospect and entertaining them, you can then get a 100% deduction for meals. And that applies to any kind of meal. That includes wet liquor, that includes desserts, that includes steak, that includes lobster. I mean, you can literally eat away your taxes.
Right. Think
awesome. About that.
Yeah. Last couple questions. You mentioned something pretty awesome about kids. You know, a lot of our YouTube subscribers have families. So you say pay your kids. Why?
Well, first of all, if they work for you in your business, you can write off that wage and get a deduction for that. Secondly, they can use that money and put that in a Roth IRA, and all that appreciation can be tax-free for their college, for their retirement, for all kinds of things. Okay? Third thing, even if you hire them in non-business related things, you don't get a deduction, but they can put that money into Roth IRAs and get the same benefit, or put that money in a prepaid tuition plan, so all the appreciation is tax-free. So why would you want to give them an allowance, which is not deductible, when you could hire them in your business, get a deduction for it, have them put money into a Roth IRA or a prepaid tuition plan, and all that appreciation is tax-free? Why would you not do that?
That's crazy.
Hello? That's how people get rich. They got to, this is a tax, the game, this is like tic-tac-toe. You ever play tic-tac-toe?
Of course.
When you first learned tic-tac-toe, I'll bet the person who taught you won all the time.
All the time, yeah.
But what happens once you understand the game?
Yeah, it's like, now we get the standoff because I know the next move.
That's exactly right. We have a standoff. The same thing is true with the tax game. If you don't know what you're doing, the government wins all the time. Yeah. But if you know what you're doing, it's a standoff. You get a lot more benefits. And that's why it is so important to understand the basic tax rules for your business. And that's why I came out with my book, Lower Your Taxes and Achieve Financial Freedom, exactly for that reason.
What's probably not in the book is my last question here, because we're in the retirement planning industry with life insurance, and we mentioned it was this casual conversation. And for a long time, you were, not a fan of annuities. What has changed?
It's interesting that you said that. When I actually wrote the book, I wasn't a great fan of annuities. What has changed is, as I've gotten older, I had a complete paradigm shift. I noticed that a lot of elderly individuals became pathological savers. And that applies to me too, by the way. They suddenly felt, oh, we can't go anywhere because we might run out of money. That fear of running out, they could be worth $6 million. Oh, I might run out of money. I just met somebody like that, in fact. Wow. That's true of almost every elderly person I meet, unless they're worth tens of millions of dollars. But if they are receiving a pension of $60,000, $50,000 a year, $80,000 a year, they're receiving this income, You think they have to worry about what's going on, whether they should take a cruise? Or even better, which is something a friend of mine said, the stock market used to go up, the stock market used to go down. He used to get ulcers and all kinds of problems when the stock market dropped.
Sure.
But by buying an annuity, when he started receiving $80,000 or $100,000 a year, you think he cares what kind of interest rate or whether the stock market went up or down at that point?
Or where it's at.
Or where it's at?
Yeah.
He doesn't.
Yeah.
So it made a huge difference to his life. It made a difference in my life. It made a difference to a lot of other people who are receiving the annuity. So I completely changed my attitude about annuities. Wow. And there are a lot of different annuities. So people really need to understand how annuities work. There are also tax benefits to annuities, by the way. You can get your contribution all tax-free. So you can get all the money you're getting up to what you paid in tax-free until you start paid in all that money. I mean, there's other benefits. Annuities are a tax-deferred vehicle. So yes, annuities are definitely part of a good financial plan. I think that everyone should have some of it, especially as they get older.
Sure. And Sandy, one of the industries most likely to make you a millionaire is financial services. I gather it's been good to you. It's been good to you, your family.
There's no question. My son's a financial planner. There's no question about that. And I know I used to lecture to financial planners. And anybody in the financial service business that I know who's been in there for a while do very, very well. And they usually outperform the lawyers, which that tells you something.
Very cool.